So when Elvis Presley came on the scene, the only thing I can say is that he did it right. He did it good, you know. And again, where Elvis was concerned, there was no color line because everybody liked his music. And Elvis Presley was what they were looking for, to get that music not necessarily accepted because it had already been accepted, but permissible for the white kids to listen to, and openly.
People are amazed at Elvis, at his influence. I'm not. And honey, it didn't come just from his music. It came from what he could say in just a little innuendos of his voice. He could do things that had to be something other than carnal. It had to be a spiritual communication.
I listened to it, and I listened to where he was coming from when he was singing it, and where the band were coming from, and the way that they were playing and swinging, and the way Presley was taking all that white poor boy Tupelo, Mississippi guy, and all the radio he'd heard, Arthur Crudup, all the kind of ink spots, all that stuff is in his voice. Elvis was so crucial.
I remember being writing arrangements for Tommy Dorsey on the Saturday night bandstand, which is a replacement for Jackie Gleason. And one night, this little kid came from Memphis and sang on the show. The band was pissed off, you know, and they couldn't play with each other or get into it at all. And Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey had the band. I remember Sam Phillips said, we'll send for the band from Memphis. And they came back up, and Elvis played on that show. And Tommy was upset. He said, oh, man, this dude, he'll be out of here tomorrow, you know. And 2 days later, they got 8,000 letters. And it was over. And I think 3 or 4 weeks later, he played on the Sullivan Show. And Elvis was on that show, the Saturday Night Bandstand, until it closed, you know.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street, Heartbreak Hotel, where I'll be. I'll be so lonely, baby. Well, I'm so lonely. Well, I'm so lonely, I could die.
See, in white society, movement of the butt, shaking the leg, all that was considered obscene for white folks. Now here's this white boy. And they're grinding, rolling his belly and shaking that notorious leg. I hadn't even seen the black dudes doing what Elvis had his own. He had some movements I had never witnessed.
I one time went to a country music show at Baton Rouge High School, and there was a guy in this pink suit with a guitar player and a bass player, and it was Elvis singing Blue Moon in Kentucky. And I remember standing, going with my friend back behind the auditorium after the show, and standing next to this guy going, wow, this guy is really cool.
If your baby leaves you, you got a tale to tell. Just take a walk down Lonely Street to Heartbreak Hotel, where you'll be so lonely. Well, you'll be lonely. You'll be so lonely, you could die. Well.
Oh, Elvis. He was rock and roll. That's rock and roll, you know. Rock and roll, really, I can get down to about 6, 7 people, you know. But he was above it all, you know. He was rock and roll.